I'm here with Stephen Yeo, the CEO of CEPR, the London-based economic think tank. We're in Brussels and we've just attended a presentation on the funding of economics research in Europe. Stephen, what's the most important message you're taking home to London?
The landscape of social sciences and humanities funding is shifting very definitely. It's going to be very different in the next framework program than it has been, and I think it remains to be seen how the framework program outside the European Research Council will evolve in a way that attracts good researchers.
A lot of economists have been surveyed about their opinion on the research funding. What have been the most interesting results from your point of view?
One thing I found very surprising in the survey results, it was a survey of the perceptions of economists about research funding, not necessarily the reality. I was surprised at the negative perceptions of many of the respondents to the European Research Council, the ERC. That surprised me a great deal. You can speculate on why those perceptions are as negative as they are. I think it may reflect a lack of data. The ERC is new. It hasn't given out that many grants in economics, and so there are not many, but nevertheless it is very surprising the level of dissatisfaction with the amount of funding.
So it's the amount of funding which is at issue, or which is disregarded.
Well, the disappointment at low success rates, but it's even worse. I think there's a bad dynamic, which is that the amount of funding that's allocated to different disciplines is determined by the number of applicants. So it's possible to have these negative perceptions are not necessarily a good thing, because if these negative perceptions lead to fewer applicants mean less money will be allocated to a discipline. Therefore, there will be even lower success rates, more dissatisfaction. So in the limit, the funding will disappear.
One of the points we heard was that a lot of economists complained about the lack of flexibility in the funding programs. Do you share this view?
I think it is a very strong perception and a very strong disincentive to many researchers. There is a very deep-seated perception that the Commission's procedures are inflexible and difficult to understand and to predict. So it's sometimes not evident whether something that you wish to do is allowable or not. And it can be impossible to determine that. And in many of the evaluations of the framework program, this point has been raised again and again. It's almost the unpredictability of the rules or their interpretation which discourages researchers.
We also heard the appeal that the Commission should have more trust in the researchers and not control every single. Do you think that's a justified bid?
Well, that's a difficult one. On the one hand, it's public money. You have to exercise scrutiny. The problem is that the need for accountability and honesty collides with a more informal culture in the research world, in which reputation and among your peers is much more important than anything else, and so that tends to police behavior. Not completely. There are exceptions. There are instances of bad behavior in economics and many other disciplines, but in general, in the research world, you rely on the reputation to control bad behavior.
Some people say that the funders, the donors, are treating the researchers like crooks. Do you share this impression?
No, not entirely. I don't think there's any good answer to it. I can see both sides. It's very frustrating for researchers, but it's not obvious that life can be as simple as researchers would wish it to be because of the accountability issue.
All right. Thanks, Stephen. Thank you very much.